What's up guys, still figuring out here. In this video, I'm going to share with you Marvel Legends Crossbones. This one over here is from the Ares BAF wave. This over here is from the 2013 SDCC Thunderbolts box set. And this one, last one over here, is from the recent Crymson Dynamo BAF wave. These two earlier versions are actually the same, it's just a repaint of each other. And they also come with a different set of weapon. And the new one, of course, is totally different. You can see that it is different in size and also a totally different body mold. So let's start off with the weapons so that I can get rid of it. So the Ares Crossbones comes with a rifle and a gun. So the rifle over here is quite decent, and so is the handgun over here. An interesting thing about the rifle is that it actually has the Hydra logo, okay, at this part over here. So yeah, and it's on both sides there. And there's actually another thing about the weapons is that it doesn't really fit the hands. Then you can see that the hands are kind of, the grip of the hand is kind of too big for the weapon, and the finger doesn't go inside the trigger area. So it's kind of like loosely gripped on the hand if you were to place it. And the same goes for the other gun. Although it's a better grip, but the finger still can't really go into the trigger of the gun. There, it can't fit into the trigger of the gun. So yeah, that's one thing about the Ares Crossbones weapons. For the Thunderbolts box set, it comes with this gigantic Gatling cannon. It's really awesome. This handle can rotate, and this part also can kind of be lifted up, although I'm not sure what's the purpose of it, that it can go up and down a bit. And it has this gimmick that if I rotate, there's a knob over here that you can rotate, and there's a button over here at the bottom. When I pull it, yeah, the Gatling gun is gonna like shoot out, or it's gonna spin. Yep, let's do that again. Spin the knob and pull the trigger. Yeah, I don't know what's the gimmick for, but yeah, that's that. And that's the bullets over here. So yeah, this is the big Gatling gun. For the new Crossbones, they have two different types of guns. Okay, I'll just take one of each. So over here is kind of like a double barrel gun. Kind of interesting. I saw one of the comments on my Instagram that it looks like a Nerf gun. Maybe it does, but it still looks good to me. But the one that is kind of kind of funny is this gun, which actually looks like a Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers gun. Yeah. This gun goes into the holster, and this gun doesn't have a holster. Yeah, you can see that it goes into the holster nicely. Let's just put the other one too. Alright. Now let's compare the older versions of the Crossbones before we start with the new one. So this first version over here has grey pants, and the vest is kind of different. It's different from the SDCC version. The SDCC has black pants, and there's a white part over here at the above the glove area, but over here is not. And the SDCC version also has this strap over here at the ankle. Let's take a closer look at the vest. First off, the heads are exactly the same, but both of my Crossbones over here has a slight yellowing. The vest, however, is a bit different. For the first version, it has this painted zipper line at the center. It also has a blue wash that makes it kind of look weathered. Then as I bring it closer, you can see that there's a kind of bluish wash over the black, and it really does look decent. Except that they also did the same thing for the belt. So you can't like differentiate. Maybe you didn't even realize there's a belt over here because it's like totally the same. And it's actually interesting that they also kind of weathered the boots. There you can see the kind of silvery wash on the boots. So yeah, I like that. That's awesome. Except that for the belt, they could have colored it a bit different, but at the very least there are some silver buckles on the pockets, and the knife handle of the knife is also painted. For the SDCC version, the logo is over here, so you can see the logo painted clearly, nice gold and white. And then there's the crossbone, the X, the two bones that makes the X, and they actually painted the belt, and you can see it clearly together with the sheath of the knife. Yeah, so I don't know why the earlier version did not paint the belt, because it actually looks quite nice with the belt painted. There's also a slight difference in the color of the skin tone. The older one is a bit more lighter in color, and this second version, the SDCC version, is slightly tanned. But it's just a slight difference and nothing major about it. Same goes for the back of the figure. The vest is consistent with the paintwork of having the weathered look, and also the belt being the same paint. Same goes for the SDCC. The back is just black, and the belt is also painted. Now I'm just going to use one of the older one to compare with the new Crossbones. So you can see over here, first off is the height difference. The older one is taller. You can see the older one is taller than the newer one. And of course, definitely the body mold is different. This one uses the Hyperion, how do you pronounce the hero's name? Hyperion body mold. And this over here uses the Toy Biz Hulkling body. The head size is also different. You can see that this is the newer one is bigger and the older one is smaller. And the paintwork is also different. I kind of prefer this, the nostril being two separate, kind of oval-ish shape rather than this N-shaped nose. Yeah. And I also prefer the eyes of this, more pointed ends than this one over here. And also the top part, which is this pointed end over here. But over here is kind of, it's not pointed. So yeah, I thought this design over here is better, the older version. But the newer one has this strap at the back, which is also cool. But I wish they actually made it like Aurora of the Alpha Flight, where you can actually rotate this thing. But this one over here is fixed and you can't rotate it. And of course, there's a belt and a holster for the new version. And the holster is kind of funny in the sense that there's a cover of the strap of the holster over here, but it doesn't go over the gun. So that's kind of a weird design. They might as well don't put this, right? Because I thought this should be like covering over the handle of the gun to keep it inside. But since it's not doing that serving that function, might as well they just don't remove this sculpt over here. Here you can see the difference in size of the arms. This older crossbone is gigantic, and the newer one is not as big. At the back of the figure, you can see the holes at the back of the figure, which is to put the cape of the Hyperion. But of course, this figure doesn't have a cape, but Hasbro being Hasbro, they don't cover up the hole. Just like the Pizza Spidey mold having the hole at the back, and all the Pizza Spidey body mold has it, even though it's not Spidey. Like for example, the Iron Fist figure, which has the Spidey body mold, also has the hole at the back. So yeah, basically, they don't cover up the hole. Next, articulation. Now this Hulkling body mold does not have a wrist articulation. It only has this forearm swivel, and that's it. So when it comes to kind of posing with the gun, it can be a bit challenging, but yeah, so you'll need to figure out how to work around that. And also it has a single hinge joint on the elbow. Other than that, the joints are pretty much the usual double hinge knee joint, up and down, and also a bit of, not much of left and right actually. The bicep swivel, the arm goes up decently, it rotates, and there's also actually a ab crunch, and also a waist swivel, and the neck does look up and down decently. And of course, it has the old ball hip joint. The newer one does not have the ball hip joint, of course. This Hyperion body mold, double hinge elbow joint, double hinge knee joint. There's a calf swivel, ankle pivot, can do a decent split, can go up front decently, and yep, all the rest are pretty much basic. Ab crunch, waist swivel, the neck goes up and down well too. So the only particular thing about the Hulkling body mode is that it doesn't have the wrist joint, the wrist hinge joint, and also swivel. Now here's a size comparison with 80th anniversary Captain America. You can see that even the new Crossbones, even though he is smaller than the older Crossbone, he is still bigger than the Captain America figure. And here's a swap with Pizza Spidey body. So those figures with the Pizza Spidey body, you can see that it's definitely look kind of scrawny compared to the older Crossbones especially. So between these three Crossbone figures from Hasbro, which one do you prefer the most? I think based on the comments on my Instagram post on them, the SDCC is the one that people prefer the most, but I think most of them also agree that both of these body molds are not the best that Hasbro can offer. And the recent Omega Red body mold is definitely better with the shoulder butterfly joint. Do stay tuned for my upcoming video for a vest swap from the older version to the new one, whether it fits or not. Hit the subscribe button, follow me on Instagram, and thanks for watching everyone.